Today on Not Otherwise Specified, we are going to demystify borderline personality disorder.
Get ready, here it comes.
Theodore Millon is one of the pioneers of personality research, and he's got some basic descriptions of the BB10 personality disorders currently contained within the DSM-5. Theodore Millon's description of borderline personality disorder is as such: unpredictable, manipulative, unstable, frantically fears abandonment and isolation, experiencing rapidly fluctuating moods, shifting rapidly between loving and hating, seeing themselves and others alternatively as all good or all bad, unstable and frequently changing moods. People with borderline personality disorder have a pervasive pattern of instability in interpersonal relationships. That's Theodore Millon's description of borderline personality disorder. I could talk for literally days straight about borderline personality disorder. This is one that you've probably heard of. You may have heard of. Back in the day, depression wasn't something anybody would talk about. And now mainstream society is pretty familiar with depression. Unipolar or bipolar depression. People are fairly familiar at this point. In the 90s, bipolar depression is what got its major awareness push, so that people know the term. Manic depression, what used to be called manic depression, is now called bipolar. In the 90s, there was a big awareness push, and so people are familiar. The big awareness push, it seems these days, is borderline personality disorder, because it's very prevalent, and it can be debilitating for people. I mean, people with borderline personality disorder are at their core terrified of being abandoned, terrified of everybody in their life disappearing out of their life. And that terror tends to inspire the borderline to do some maladaptive things, like lash out at people because they're perceiving that they're about to be abandoned, which then leads to actual abandonment in many cases. It's a very complex disorder, but the root of borderline personality disorder is a fear of abandonment. It's being afraid that you're going to lose everyone, and being really, flighty and needy towards other people because of that fear. There is a psychologist that said about borderline personality disorder, for everything that you can say about it, the opposite is also true. And that's something that really, strikes to the heart of it, as far as I'm concerned. Like, my experience, half a lifetime ago, I was diagnosed with features of borderline personality disorder, and it's been kind of an obsession for a couple of decades to try to understand it better. Because if that's what's wrong with me, maybe I can fix it by understanding. I mean, really the only way to address borderline personality disorder, and many of these disorders, and many general issues in your life, is mindfulness, is being mindful of where your moods are at, being mindful of yourself, and meditating on your current state so that you can try to stay as close to baseline as possible. Borderline personality disorder, there are a lot of mood swings involved, whereas depression is just one mood swing downward. Bipolar depression is swinging up to manic episodes and swinging down to depressive episodes. The same thing happens with borderline personality disorder, but the swings are very fast. I mean, you will, in the course of one 15-minute conversation with a person, feel depressed and manic and depressed again. One of my favorite memes in some of the personality disorder awareness network groups is just a meme that says, I don't mean to brag, but I haven't had a mood swing in almost 7 minutes. Borderline personality disorder, our moods are all over the place. I say our, as though I'm one of the camp. I identify a lot with it. It's actually, this program, borderline personality disorder, is really
You know, that was my first big awareness push as far as mental health in my current, derivation of my persona here. And it's just, I feel like I've got a radar for it when I meet somebody who I suspect is borderline, like something pops off of my head, like, oh, this is one of those. Here's the thing, borderline people with borderline personality disorder are going to be pretty challenging. They're going to be difficult to know, but it's really rewarding to know somebody with that condition because they live so intensely and so passionately that they can be an interesting person to have in your life. I don't regret the experiences I've had with people who exhibit symptoms of that disorder, even though I did lose a few teeth. Things can get hectic. You have to create boundaries if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody with BPD. That's the start and the end of it. Boundaries. You have to let them know you can't treat me this way. If you treat me this way, this relationship is over. And you have to maintain that. If you let them walk over your boundaries, they will continue to walk all over your boundaries and it will get ugly. So that's kind of the breakdown on borderline personality disorder. Like I said, I could talk about this for days, but this program, not otherwise specified, is meant to just be an overview to get people thinking and talking about personality disorder. So thank you for viewing. This is not otherwise specified.
Get ready, here it comes.
I want to thank everybody that helped me put this program together, and that includes everybody that's helped me continue on. People have been encouraging me, hey, the world needs this, don't give up, and it's easy to want to give up when you're in my position. But yeah, so thank you for everybody who's told me not to give up. Thank you for penguins. Penguins are very soothing things. That's a whole deeper level. If you want to know, send me a message. I'll tell you what that's all about. Please subscribe, because we're going to keep making shows dedicated to mental health and entertainment, of course, because I guess that's what I am, an entertainer. Is that what I am?